Hello there, I'm Ludwig and this is Data Platform Microlearning. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about Power BI and the basic terms that you will be using and seeing the moment you will start exploring your Power BI account. Because when you will sign up for Power BI for the first time, if you follow the information and the guidance from the other clip that I just recently published about starting with Power BI, you can get your hands on some samples. And the moment you import a sample like that, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see some data sets, data sets, reports, dashboards on your workspaces. So since this is exactly the subject of today's episode, let me walk you through once and for all through those terms so you'll never confuse any one of them. Let's move them in here to the right top corner. And let's look at the story in here, because again, there is a lot of storytelling when it comes to Power BI. Again, each one of those episodes has something to do with your overall data story. So again, where your data sits, it doesn't really matter. After all, we are in the data analysis, we are in the data engineering, we are in the data visualization world, right? So regardless whether your data where did my boom, here's my database. Regardless whether your database is located somewhere in here in the database, maybe it's in some XLS file, maybe it's in some cloud service, it doesn't really matter. But however you will connect this data into your Power BI service, let's keep it that way right now, regardless how you'll call it, this will be called a data set, because that's where your data comes from. Now, regardless, again, whether it will be very simple or extremely complex, sophisticated, and hard to understand, it'll always be called a data set. So that's where I'm getting my data from. Now, based on that data set, I can build a report, right? Because that's the main area where I'll be presenting my data. So wherever it will be some kind of a pie chart or a graph or some lines or whatever, cards, whatever kind of visualization, maps, globes, KPIs that you can imagine, all of that information will be on your report. The report itself can be multi-page, right? So you can have multiple pages, as if you had a few years back, if you had this report printed out, you would be able to scroll through all of those multiple pages, to go through all of those pages. And right now you can switch from one to the other. Now, if your report again becomes very complex and has multiple different information about different aspects of your business, what you may want to do is you may want to create a dashboard. So again, this will be a bird's eye overview of what's going on in your report, right? So this can just give you all of the main metrics, most common things that any decision maker, any stakeholder will ask about. And the moment they click on the particular visualization, they will be taken exactly to the proper space, proper page of your actual report, right? And this is how those three different aspects in here, so your data sets, reports, and dashboards, come together. Now, the last one that stays with us in here, and the last one they promised to cover, is the workspace. Now, the moment you log in to this brand new, fresh Power BI account, you will see that you only have My Workspace. So again, you can think about your workspace as your desktop. So that's exactly where you will be keeping all of your reports. Now, the moment you will use the Power BI service, the Power BI web app, that's where you'll upload or store all of your reports by default. If you will be using Power BI Desktop, which is a different app, you will also be publishing your reports to your workspace by default. But then again, if you want to have collaboration spaces where you can start working and collaborating, improving, expanding, developing those reports with your peers, if you want to share the information from those reports with your peers, you may create separate workspaces so people, depending on their permissions and the work that they're supposed to do, the data that they're supposed to have access to, they'll only have access to the certain workspaces that will cover certain information coming from your organization. So the workspace, again, it's the place where you'll be sharing, collaborating, developing, expanding, and growing your reports. And that's exactly how you divide those four terms, how you can understand those four terms. So the data set is the source from where your data comes from. Report is your main area of work. Dashboard is a bird's eye overview, and the workspace is a place to put all of those reports, and you can have multiple workspaces for a different projects or different departments, or maybe different customers if you're working in the multi-customer environment in your Power BI service. So I hope that you find this video helpful. Oops, not like this, but like this. Hope you'll find this video helpful, and you'll subscribe to Data Platform Microlearning, and I'll hope to see you in the next episode.